In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to fix vercel deployment errors. If your vercel deployment fails, don't worry. The fastest way to solve it is to check the error carefully, confirm whether the issue happens locally, and then retry the deployment without using the old cache. I'll walk you through that process clearly so you can troubleshoot with confidence. First, go to your vercel dashboard. This is where all of your projects and deployment activity are managed, so it's the best starting point whenever something goes wrong. Once you're in the dashboard, click on your project and then open the Deployments tab. This section shows the history of every deployment attempt, including the successful ones and the failed ones. That makes it much easier to spot exactly where the issue started. Next, click the failed deployment and open the build logs. Here, you want to look for the exact error message shown in red. This is one of the most important parts of the process because the red error usually tells you what actually caused the deployment to fail. Instead of guessing, use that message as your clue. Read it carefully and focus on the final error line, since that often points directly to the root problem. After that, run a local test build. This helps you figure out whether the problem is happening only on Vercel or whether your project has a build issue in general. Testing locally is a great habit because it gives you a controlled environment to catch errors before deploying again. If the same error appears locally, you'll know the code or configuration needs to be fixed first. If your local build works but vercel still fails, the next thing to try is clearing the cache. Sometimes an old build cache can keep outdated files or settings around, and that can cause deployment problems even after you've already made the correct changes. To do that, go back to the failed vercel deployment page and click the three dots next to redeploy. This opens additional redeploy options. Then select redeploy and make sure the option called use existing build cache is turned off. Turning this off forces vercel to create a fresh build instead of reusing old cached data. That's especially helpful when the deployment problem is caused by stale dependencies, old build artifacts, or cached configuration. Once you redeploy without the existing build cache, give it a moment to run and then check whether the deployment completes successfully. In many cases, this resolves the issue right away. That's the full process for fixing common vercel deployment errors. Check the failed deployment, read the build logs, test locally, and redeploy with the cache turned off. Follow these steps carefully, and you'll have a much easier time diagnosing and fixing deployment problems.